Every millennial carries a quiet sadness. We were promised possibility and handed collapse.
We were born into light, the kind you don't see anymore. Ask any millennial and they'll tell you. The air just felt different back then. Cleaner, softer, warmer. The world had more color. It wasn't just childhood we lost, it was the world itself. We were the children of the 90s and early 2000s. The last to know a world before it was digitized, monetized, and monitored. Our days weren't tracked, they were lived. We grew up in the last pockets of freedom, before Wi-Fi, before surveillance, before every moment was measured. We were the kids of the 90s, riding bikes until the streetlights told us to go home, blowing into game cartridges to make them work, feeding our Tamagotchis like they were real pets, waiting for dial-up to connect us, not to millions of strangers, but to a simpler kind of wonder. We waited hours just to hear our favorite song on MTV, and when it finally played, it felt like the world stopped just for us. There was a kind of peace in being unreachable. No pings, no read receipts. You were allowed to disappear. Technology felt like magic back then. It wasn't watching us. It wasn't selling us. It was just fun. Before the internet became a marketplace, it was a playground. No algorithms, no ads, no brands. Just weird, messy, beautiful freedom. We rewound VHS tapes, saved files on floppy disks, and thought the future looked bright, because they told us it would be. You can be anything you want, work hard, and the good life will follow. We believed them. How could we not? But then came the first crack. We watched the world change on a Tuesday morning. Smoke filled the sky, and fear filled everything else. Some of us were too young to understand, but old enough to feel it. That shift in the air, the end of safety, the birth of suspicion. The world wasn't perfect, but something changed that day. For many of us, it's when childhood ended, and the fear never left. Then came the wars, and then came the recession. And by the time we reached adulthood, the ladder we were promised had been pulled up. The global financial crisis hit just as we were getting started. Jobs vanished, homes became assets for others to own, and debt became a rite of passage. Even our stuff changed. Things used to be built to last and to be fixed, but now everything is disposable, even us sometimes. They told us to hustle. If you're struggling, work harder. So we did. We worked through exhaustion, turned hobbies into side hustles, turned weekends into productivity marathons, because survival was rebranded as ambition. We used to draw for fun, write for fun, play for fun, and then one day, everything we loved had to earn something. Likes, money, results. We didn't stop creating. We just forgot how to do it without performance. And when that wasn't enough, they gave us social media, a place to smile through the struggle. We didn't share our lives, we curated them, filtering out the fear, the debt, the anxiety. We were the most connected generation in history, and somehow the loneliest. We smiled in photos while silently falling apart. We were seen by everyone and understood by no one. Now, every thought becomes data, every scroll a signal. We traded freedom for convenience and didn't even notice at first. Back then, we didn't know everything, and that was okay. Now, we carry every crisis, all the time, everywhere, in our pockets. Comparison wasn't an accident, it was the point. While billionaires played in space, we celebrated affording rent. And when we started to crack under the pressure, they didn't question the system, they questioned us. Have you tried mindfulness? Maybe download a meditation app. We didn't go to therapy because we were weak. We went because no one taught us how to live in a world that never stops asking for more. Anxiety, depression, burnout. We memorized the words. Not because we were broken, but because we were the first ones to notice that everything else was. We weren't fragile snowflakes. We were canaries in a coal mine, and they ignored the warning signs. We mastered resilience, but no one taught us how to rest without guilt. We work, we crash, we call it a weekend. And when we finally stop, we feel guilty. Because somewhere along the way, rest stopped feeling like healing and started feeling like failure. And just when the noise became unbearable, the world stopped. The pandemic silenced everything. No hustle, no deadlines, no pretending. For a moment, we breathed. Not freely, but differently. And in that forced stillness, we saw the truth. The life we'd been chasing, it didn't exist. It was always just out of reach, because that's where they wanted it. When they told us to go back to normal, we realized normal was the cage. We survived capitalism's golden age of decay, but surviving isn't the same as living. And just as we began to wake up, just as we thought awareness might save us, the air itself became the next enemy. Burnout didn't kill us, but something else would, because you can't hustle your way out of poison skies. The garden is growing now, slowly, quietly. I found seeds in an old coffee tin yesterday. Someone must have meant to plant them, but never got the chance. I did. The first sprout broke through this morning. It's barely a whisper of green, but it's enough, because in this world, even the smallest sign of life means you're not alone. I sit beside it, cup of warm water in my hands. No screens, no noise, no need to explain myself. The wind rustles through broken windows. It smells like soil. And maybe, for the first time in years, hope.